Hello everyone, this is Miles Phillips with the Most Best Podcast coming at you in the most best way. I've got 109999 people on my butt. When you're looking at me, I got something on my rut. So, when I was turning 10 last year, I found a tooth in my toenail, and I decided that that does not belong there, so I put it back in my mouth. Today I wanted to let me start over. Today I wanted to talk about just one issue that has been on my mind as of late. And that is an issue that has to do with Trump's immigration ban, which is chaos in itself, but within that came several protests at several different airports, specifically JFK and the DFW airport. And one particular instance that came from the protest at JFK is that Uber tweeted out that they were suspending their surge pricing during the protests at the airport, which sent a lot of people into arms for some reason. And if you don't know what surge pricing is for car services like Uber, ride services like Uber, that is when there's a higher need for cars out there, Uber raises their prices, raises their fees, so more drivers have an incentive to go out there and pick up more people. And so during these protests, Uber suspended that surge fee, and people got up in arms, which I kind of understand, because it does limit the amount of drivers that are going to be out there, and so there are longer wait times with that. And they said that in their tweet, please be patient with us because there are going to be, since we're taking away the surge pricing, there are going to be longer wait times, which seems like a simple fix if you're just, a normal human being. Just download the Lyft app. If it's going to take too long for Uber to get there, delete Tinder off your phone and download the Lyft app, so you can get a ride home, so you don't have to just rely on Uber. I mean, there's other services out there, but people went up in arms, and there came this wave of this hashtag wave of delete Uber, and everyone got on board to delete Uber, and it was just it still is kind of a big deal. And this got me I saw it on my Facebook, on the sidebar, on the trending bar, on the side of my Facebook feed. I saw this delete Uber hashtag, and I said to myself, what is this right now? And so I clicked on it, and I looked at it, and I was like, okay, let me research what this is all about. And when I say research, I mean all you have to do some research today, guys, to have more information on issues today, guys. All you have to do is get off of Facebook, get off of Facebook, go to Google, and type in the question you have, and naturally the first link up there is going to be a Wikipedia article or something. Okay, scroll down a little bit farther and find a more reputable source for your information than Wikipedia. Type in your question and scroll down and look at the URLs, and maybe this isn't a good way to do this, but use anything other than Wikipedia to get your information. And I found an article about this whole delete Uber thing, and was very the article. I forgot what these are. Let me look at what this article was. Sorry, excuse me if you hear clicking in the background. But it was from a site called www.marketwatch.com/stories/consumers lash out at Uber and turn to Lyft after Uber's immigration response. And in this article, it's very non-biased. I think this article it just gives you the facts about the situation. So then from there, you can form your own opinion about what happened, which more people should be doing nowadays, in my opinion. Don't get your information from a news source that leans heavily conservative or leans heavily liberal. Get the facts first. Get the facts about a situation and then decide from there your opinion, because we're going down a rabbit hole, guys, and it's destroying us all. We're all gonna die in a large hole, in a vat of our own lazy stupidity. Not stupidity. Maybe that's a little much, but we're all gonna die eventually, guys. And do you want to die ill-informed, or do you want to die an informed person who took the 2 minutes it would take to get on Google to research a certain topic? But hey, okay. So in this article, it talks about what happened, and it has the direct tweet that Uber made, and Uber has apologized for this tweet. I think people are also mad that the Uber CEO met with Trump at some point, but so did other COOs, CFS, whatever they are. So have other companies. Apple and Facebook have also met with Trump. It doesn't mean they support Trump. It doesn't mean they want. It doesn't mean that they love Trumples. They met with him. I don't know what it means. I should look that up too. Maybe after this, I'll look that up. I didn't bother to because I wasn't thinking I was going to bring that up right now. But that's just something that was on my mind and I brought it up. Let's continue with what this real topic is about. This is about the delete Uber craze. And so people were like all up in arms about this. Here's the tweet from Uber. It says, surge pricing has been turned off at JFK Airport. This may result in longer wait times. Please be patient. That seems reasonable to me, doesn't it? That seems reasonable. You know, you don't know what they were doing. Maybe they were lowering. Maybe they were taking the surge price off, turning the surge price off, so that you would have cheaper rides out there. They supported your protest. They didn't want to charge you extra fees. So for practicing your First Amendment right. But hey, I guess that's just my opinion. That was my take on it. It wasn't an FU to all the people protesting. They were just turning the surge pricing off. But people take things out of context, and then they want to start things like delete Uber, which my dad is an Uber driver. He doesn't do it for his living. He works as a family and school family engagement specialist, student family school engagement specialist. He does work with the Arlington AISD school. That's redundant. The Arlington Independent School District of Arlington, Texas. He works with them, and he has a position there. But sometimes, to get some extra cash, he drives for Uber. And I think some people also do this for a living. They drive for Uber or other car services for a living. And deleting Uber is like, I mean, it's not that big of a deal, but it's leaving people. You're cutting people off of potential work that they could have, because you had an issue with Uber making rides cheaper for you, and you're impatient and don't want longer wait times, I guess. But hey, again, that's just me. which it got me thinking, and I've realized as of late, it's been going on for a while, but as of late, I've noticed that we have this issue with mob mentality, and I didn't know a whole lot about mob mentality. That was just something I thought of when I thought of the delete Uber stuff, and so I didn't know a whole lot about it. So I called up a dear friend of mine. His name is let's look here. Sorry. His name is Dr. James P. Cornisham. I said he was a dear friend of mine, and but he's not. I don't know him that well. I've met him once in a library in North Dakota, but don't ask me why I was there. But I met him there, and very briefly, and he gave me his card. And I noticed that he studied at the University of Cambridge, and he studied at the University of Cambridge, and he got his doctorate in the studies of people. What goes into the study of people, or what that entails, I do not know. That is a question for him. If you want to talk to him, look him up on Google. But this is my recorded interview I had with Dr. James P. Cornisham. Please enjoy. All right, is it there? The mic's in my. Okay, talk into the mic. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Hello, Dr. James P. Cornisham here. Dr. James P. Cornisham here. Hello, Dr. James P. Cornisham. I wanted to talk. I called you today. I wanted to talk to you today because I wanted to get more information on this on an issue that's been on my mind lately, and that is the idea of mob mentality. And I know that you got your doctorate in the study. Yes. You got your doctorate in the studies of people and the actions of people, and within that you studied heavily. You did your thesis was on your thesis. Your senior thesis was on mob mentality, correct? Yes, yes, that is correct. My thesis was on mob mentality. And I would like to quote something that was in my thesis that I thought is very powerful and very pertinent, and that is this: real knowledge is to know the extent of one's ignorance. Oh yeah, I think isn't that a quote by Confucius or someone like? Isn't that a Confucius quote? No, I said it. I just said that. It's in my thesis. And what that means is acknowledge the fact that you're ignorant and fix it. Learn for yourself. Oh, that's very insightful, Doctor. Can you tell us a little bit about your studies on mob mentality? Well, it goes all the way back to when life was first created by Xandar the Gecko God. The instinct to follow the crowd is a basic human trait that has been around since the beginning of time. But progress was never made until one decides to think for his or her or gecko self. So when does mob mentality usually occur? Well, mob mentality comes when people don't take the time to form their own opinions. It's human nature to conform to what another is doing. Be conscious of that and try to break that mold. All right, so in other words, avoid being reactionary. Absolutely. Attempt to pay more attention. Think. There is a section of the human brain called the medial prefrontal cortex, which is the most active when people think for themselves and is more dormant when in a group. Like an angry mob of hipsters who go to this vintage coffee place, and they've been going for years, but not enough people go because it's crap coffee. Sure, it's aesthetically pleasing, but the coffee is tripe, and ends up turning into a Starbucks and full of soccer moms. And the guy named Larry, who writes below-average screenplays, and after 3, it's filled with hyped-up preteens who just got out of school and are looking to waste their daily allowance on venti frappuccinos. So, how do you think mob mentality affects us in this digital age we live in? Oh, it's worse. It's easy for an individual to share a BuzzFeed article with a flashy headline, and then for another to read that headline, either without reading the article or actually opening that link and devouring that shite information it contains, which leads to more shares, reactionary shares, without any further research into the issue at hand. Don't be a sheep. Hashtags are the worst because they only perpetuate the problem. It's easy to get all up in that hashtag vest, like delete Uber or boycott Starbucks. You're not sure why people are doing it, but if other people are doing it, it's probably the right thing to do. Take that moment and make your own educated decision. But can mob mentality actually be a good thing? Well, most certainly. Especially when you want to take down corrupt government officials with small hands that smell of taint sweat and whose orange skin gives off stronger ultraviolet rays than the sun. But it's also very dangerous. Just look at how that lizard person in a saggy old man costume got elected. He appealed to a group with low medial prefrontal cortex activity. Wow, thank you so much for your insight on the issue of mob mentality. That's been very, very insightful. Thank you very much, Doctor. You are very welcome. Anytime. Yes, that was my interview, a clip of my interview with Dr. James P. Cornisham on the topic of mob mentality. He's very well regarded in many places. So to have that kind of mind on the show is very beneficial and very good for the world. I think, in my personal opinion, it's very good for us to have his insight on this world's issues. To go along with the theme of mob mentality in this episode, I wanted to bring up another issue that's been on my mind that closely relates to mob mentality, and that is the success of a particular movie called La La Land. La La Land is a movie that came out last year, and it's been nominated for lots of awards and has won some awards so far, not deservedly so. This movie came out last year. It's a musical about these two lovers in Hollywood. One is a jazz musician. The other is a struggling actress. It's about their love. It's a love story. It's a musical love story. And supposedly it's a callback to older movie musicals. And it's supposed to be revolutionary. People pride it on being a revolutionary for movie musicals, but in reality is nothing special. There's nothing special about it. But for some reason, this mob mentality thing has happened, and everybody loves this movie, even though it has no actual merit. It's an okay movie, all right? It's okay. It's not great. It's just good. The cinematography is great. It's a beautiful looking film. But everything else about it it's just not that good. See, while it has a bad script, it's messy, it's uneven, the characters are unlikable and pretentious and unbelievable in some cases. And I just didn't believe these two actors in these roles because I know them and I see them, and I didn't see those characters. I don't even remember the characters' names, and I just see these two characters on screen. And with these characters, I just see the actors. I just see the actors playing them. I see Emma Stone and I see Ryan Gosling, and that's all I thought in my head as I was watching this movie. I see Emma Stone sitting there singing and dancing, and Ryan Gosling playing piano and singing and dancing, and that's it. There's nothing special. I wish that they cast lesser known names in this movie, because then I could have invested more in it and I could have believed it more. But I didn't believe Emma Stone as that struggling actress at all. It was just like, you're beautiful and I've seen you in lots of movies and you just look like you're playing a heightened version of yourself right now, a fictional version of yourself. That was just my opinion, And that whole ending makes the rest of the movie, the majority of the movie, just a complete waste of time. They waste your time with that stupid, convoluted ending. And it's forgettable. Everything about it is forgettable. Except for that ending, which pissed me off. That ending pissed me off. But everything else about it is very forgettable. There's no music in that movie I remember, except for that City of Stars theme that Ryan Gosling played over and over again. But that's only because he played it over and over and over again, and they brought it up. It was like a motif that they brought up throughout the whole movie. But that's the only thing I remember. The only song I remember liking was the one that was supposed to be the bad sellout song. The John Legend's character he was also a jazz musician, but he was becoming more popular, and he was trying to make jazz become more mainstream. And with that, he brought up the very valid point that, it needs to change a little bit for people to get into it. Jazz just can't be the same it's always been. For people you can't just throw it at people as it's always been, because they already know they don't like that. So you have to change it up a bit and be like, hey, this can be cool. This is cool. You should listen to this. But Ryan Gosling's character is so pretentious and so just into himself that he doesn't accept that. And so there's this one point where he joins John Legend's band, and so he's playing this music that John Legend has written that is, I guess, in his opinion, in Ryan Gosling's character's opinion, very selloutish. Ryan Gosling is a jazz hipster, and he doesn't want his music to become mainstream because it's so special for him. Just all in all, La La Land does not deserve half the awards it was nominated for. I was looking at that Oscar list, and I noticed it was nominated for sound editing and sound mixing. Guys, the sound mixing in that movie is terrible. When I went to see that movie, that opening number, I heard so many people talk about. I watch a lot of movie reviews on YouTube, or I listen to lots of movie podcasts, and so many people talk about the opening number and how it was such a refreshing, a cool opening. And I guess it was cool. They were dancing on the freeway. That's the only impressive thing about it, I guess. But I couldn't hear a single thing they were saying. I didn't hear any of the lyrics to the song. I don't know what they were talking about in that whole song. I I didn't know. I was like, oh, that's it? It was so uninspired and so just blah. And so the rest of the movie followed that same example where I know what they were going for, taking the surrealism of the musical and the heightened nature of a musical, and trying to throw some realism, some realistic situations in there, but it didn't work. It wasn't done well. It wasn't evenly spaced. It wasn't evenly mixed in there. It was just like, here's this stuff. I couldn't tell what it wanted to be exactly. But hey, that's my opinion. But this is the moral of this whole podcast episode. What I really wanted to get down to was this: La La Land sucks. If you get nothing, if you don't get anything else out of this podcast, if you don't get anything else out of this podcast, it's that you should walk away knowing the fact that La La Land is a mediocre film. This has been the most best pod. This has been the most best. Look at me. I can't even talk straight. I'm listening to myself in earphones, and there's like a delay, and it is throwing me off. I'm gonna take these off right now and end this podcast. Okay, here we go. This has been Miles Phillips with the Most Best Podcast, coming at you in the most best way. You can catch me on Facebook at Most Best Player, and you can catch me on YouTube as Most Best Player. I still do not have a Twitter, and my Facebook activity has been very limited. But you should follow. You should subscribe to my YouTube, and you should follow my Facebook because it's very beneficial for you, in my opinion. Maybe I'll start posting there more. You'll never know. I still don't have a Twitter account for Most Best Player. Maybe I should do that. I'll get on that maybe after I end this. This is Most Best Podcast. Out.